From the sandy landscapes of Morocco into an Egyptian palace or temple, excavated and added to the map pool as our most recent addition, Anubis has become one of the most T-sided maps in the pool, and it's where Team Space will have to show us their best foot forward, losing their map pick in Mirage to open up this series, but a 0-8 win rate for Team Space as of late. Let's see if they can turn their tide, and it's already aggressive through B, where Larry will get set up with the flash and immediately find his kill and exit.
I like it. I like it. Aggressive to start, not showing any respect just because of the previous game's outcome. Now, they hold all the pieces of power as they flash back in. I said one thing very noticeably absent from that last game was flashes for Team Space. Could just see them already turn it around, but it doesn't mean the job's done just yet. Trunic, next up to bat as they come shifting into the A side. He won't have any assistance. He'll have to hold this off with his own two hands. But even one kill might do him in. Kixon just looking for bonus damage in mid. Couple of kills back, and it's put Knock on the map. A doable 1v2 now. This is spun around to. He goes back to the smoke, but not sure what happened there for a moment. Seems to be here and fine for now. Oh, there's no kits. Again, a big piece missing for Team Space to try and stop this one on 2 clutch. And while the headshot came in early, it's the kill back from Fozil that saves the pistol round from Team Space. And something we haven't seen this series finally falls into their lap.
Yeah, a great pistol win here for Team Space. Getting aggressive, finding themselves in a 3 versus 5 initially, but then with that quick collapse and that double kill in from Kixon, really thought that round could turn on its head. But simply not meant to be for Nork in the 1-on-2. Like you said, landed the headshot, but could not find the follow-up damage. Had he found that kill, could have sat himself nestled away inside of A main, and there's very little that Team Space could have done to prevent it. No smokes, no utility, no kits. But that's not something that they have to worry about with them finding that counter kill. A good way to jumpstart the engine, but a plant in from Apeks will allow them to move in with full rifles coming into this next round. It will be light on utility, but that is something that they will try and counteract with the better stopping power that they'll have at range. You can see them willing to take these contact fights out. Team Space not deploying a smoke too early inside of B main, and one of the players already being spotted out. So an AK will take the duel, but a nice little double counter kill here from Apeks, even though they lost that initial man. Apeks losing out on that mid fight on Jacob, though, swings things back into equal contest.
Uh-oh.
Still a very spread attack here from Apeks, and Sense will try and take some space because of it.
Switches get a little hairy because Vert's low and reloading was Trunic. So it's an uncontestable kill given back to Apeks and the advantage alongside it. Still a minute to play with too, so they're going to use every second they can of it, get in Team Space's heads, who right now have no idea where they even want to put this stack. For a moment in time, Trunic had stuck around, dug his heels into A, but now the inverse is true, as they're going to go the other way. Be a lot more enticing, so they say. However, it's the wrong of the two gambles, at least so it seems for now. But maybe it's not. Instead, shifting into Connector, where Team Space are currently ready to stop this, or at least it seemed like they were, but they haven't stuck anywhere just yet. Fozil awaiting the approach from B main, not even considering Connector just yet. I think that'll be Trunic's job when he comes through. 17 seconds to play with, and now they finally stick into it. Hearing the footsteps running through, the Molly's going to be thrown down, trying to deny a plant, but it goes just a little too far, and so they get a safe plant off, and the round should be theirs unless Trunic's got a 1v3, but already forgets to clear the corner, so CacaNito gets away with one, and tied up. Again, we are into the third.
Great discipline. You know, it's only one kill there from Sense, but after he gets his kill on A, kind of set himself up to not be traded by Team Space, and because he was just a presence on that A bomb site, Trunic had to be very defensive, ended up conceding all of that A side control, and sure, they sort of started to lean the right direction over towards B, but a very difficult position to be kind of thrust into as that B side anchor, and Trunic, because he had to constantly worry about getting flanked from that A bomb site, basically couldn't help. So a really nice read from Apeks. A very key kill from Sense to have allowed them that man advantage in the first place. Move to a Team Space forced 5, but Vert's been forced forward, and Sense will get the better of him because of it.
No good exchange too. You're not getting that trade. It's gone. Dead in the water kill, and somehow Space will need to pull this back, but overextending it almost every step of the way is not going to do them any favors. Trunic, Larry, both hoping for the best, but preparing for the worst.
And it'll take them a little while to get this bomb planted, but it's a very vacant site because of them clearing out dark. Finding that first kill in towards A as well, drew the defenses over that direction to see if they could find that kill onto Sense, but they left as soon as they found those kills. So this would be a setup to save what little they brought forward into this round. It was a counteracting force buy. And this is one of the things that happened to Apeks in Mirage. You know, win their CT side pistol and then lose the follow-up round, but we saw them counter it back with a force buy win themselves. That will not be the same saving grace here for Team Space. Apeks getting 2 rounds back-to-back off of what was a lost pistol into guns.
Now Team Space are feeling the heat. Remember, Mirage was not littered with that many opportunities for Team Space on the T side, so there's always going to be that worrying on my mind, because, man, I expected a lot more from them there, but it'll be a while before we see the good from Team Space again, considering what they have here.
But something for context for the viewers at home, Anubis is not one of the maps in which is a forte here for Team Space. It's one of the weaknesses that Apeks have decided to lean into this game. In the past 6 months, only winning this map twice, both of which were in Go, and both of their wins were 16-14 wins. Every other game that they've played 15 times of Anubis, they have lost. Had the transition to Go to CS2, and they have not won on this map in CS2 as of yet.
Ugly stat.
Yeah, it's not too promising when they're already a map down in the series.
I mean, look, there's at least some credit to be had in the fact that they don't just ban it out now. Right, I feel like a lot of teams would try experimenting with other maps in that case, but Space, they've at least, you know, head down, grinded this map out to some extent, and who knows, maybe it pays off here, because so far they've got themselves a one-man advantage, and they're rotating around in time with extra prongs cut off. Now, only a dink on Sense, and enzero's got 1 HP, so the drop, kind of hard to vie for it. And this is the last smoke they've got to use up, so I mean, maybe you find a kill through it, some magic happens, but instead I think their interests are better placed in just walking away and enzero keeping them contained, or maybe they just walk out through connector and it's nice little finish of the round. Trunic sticking around, hoping to catch something. Well, he will. It won't be something he was hoping to catch. A bullet to the head, and Larry is the only one alive. Team Space, they don't walk home empty-handed, but I'm sure they would have liked more.
Yeah, there could have been more damage done. You know, enzero caught them off by approaching in on the flank with that USP, even though he was on low health, but CacaNito made it a nice little adaptation on his aim, just to make sure he wasn't taken down. They were able to vacate from the bomb site very quickly. But they were very loud about their exit from B. So Apeks knew they didn't have to worry too much, keep their guard raised for a retake effort. Like you said, it wasn't empty-handed. They come into this next gun round with an AK. But they'll have to really stop Apeks in their place. A team that are more than comfortable sort of defaulting and playing aggressive on a couple of their prongs in the opening 20 seconds. Gotta be careful. Vert as well will even face check towards A, where the majority of the presence was there for Apeks.
Seems Nox figured it out the hard way, too. That's a good start from Team Space, demanding some respect at the extremities, stopping them from just going in willy-nilly, which hasn't been much of a contest thus far. Every time Apeks went into A main, they'd get the opening kill. But here they'll have to look elsewhere, and Jacob is positioned pretty well for it. Sitting in the... Did he make a footstep? No, I don't think he did, but they're not ready for this one bit. Vert and Larry are both going to come walking straight in. Jacob might get them both, and he's expecting them both, in which he's not, but still good enough to lock down on a double opener. Trunic to pull it back, but one isn't enough, and the A site swarms with T's. Apeks, no contest again. What the... Dude, CacaNito, this is ridiculous. He just knife out, walked through that smoke, And that goes to show the confidence, and Jacob is still taking fights. A third headshot on 3 HP. enzero, he's already dead. It doesn't matter if he finds the kill on Jacob or not, because CacaNito's aggressive flank is right there.
Yeah, enzero was loud about his rotate through Temple, so right behind him was CacaNito. Heard the steps. That's all he needed to journey through that smoke. Apeks are willing to take those risks. They were set up for an A-side play. They still collapse into it, but it's Jacob that does most of the heavy lifting by dealing with both of those players out in middle. He did get caught out by a secondary man, but even on his low health, able to trade things out, get a secondary kill, and even on his lurk, found their exit. So a very fast kill in from Fozil, challenging in towards B main, round that Molotov, but Nork's AWP shot very quick. And, oh, a little bit awkward, could get overrun, but has a tech pulled, and CacaNito there as well to alleviate that strain in from Dark. No problems dealing with this as of yet. Sense does realize that his path towards the B site might be cut off, but he could find a very vacant A-bomb site as well, should he progress forward. Oh, they hear all these steps. They know that they're inside a spawn, so Sense will just take that as his chance to leave. And CacaNito will cover his exit. And won't fall foul to any of these pistols, no problems.
The one thing I'm loving so far from Apeks, and not just in this game, but the series, is when we see knock on an op, again, it was one of the talking points, the op in CS2, this, that, and whatever. But it just doesn't affect him. I mean, look at how he's playing with the op. You'd think there's no difference, no drop-off whatsoever. It looks so comfortable for him. Running around, moving in and out, weaving in A main, catching multiple players in the process. I mean, that's way harder than it looks, and Knock is still consistently doing it.
Yeah.
And now we've got to see Larry answer back. Maybe Jacob.
I mean, that's what Jacob does best. Take space and get in your face. Already through middle and challenging in towards camera. Trunic turning from the flash. Jacob floored, but there's Kixon on the trade, and it's a little labor. It takes a lot of damage for his fight. But mission accomplished. They've cleared out that A-bomb site, and they can get it planted, no problems. Team Space once again scurrying off to try and hold on to weapons.
We've seen time and time again, Apeks are not scared to go for some of these hunts, but in a 3-on-3, they're not going to do it just yet. You know, still plenty of time left on that timer. Don't want them coming back in. Want to ensure, you know, their T's are crossed, I's dotted, all that fun stuff. But honestly, with the way they're shifting around now, I don't even think they're going to go for a hunt. I think instead, just escape the bomb radius, call it a day, walk away with your 6th, happy as can be. And these are all concurrent, man. Team Space, we got to remember, they won the pistol.
Yeah.
Everything beyond that, ish. It's not even been close.
I think one of the fall-offs of their CT side you can see already is that there's very few threats that Apeks have to worry about in the opening segments. You know, this is a map where you can facilitate smokes towards stairs, you could double nade stairs, you can aggress into canals, you could fight or even double challenge in through middle. We've seen none of these openings here from Team Space thus far. The best opener we saw from them was when they threw the flash on their pistol round to set up their dualies players for that opening pick. You know, aside from that, it's been dry faces through canals. We've seen very little utility deployed from Team Space to threaten some of these more aggressive lines that the CT side could take. And so Apeks are just able to set up in their default pretty much no problems and uncontested. And if you allow them to feel safe in their default, Apeks will close out a lot of these rounds.
Oh, did he not? Does he not see the barrel sticking out? That could have been a free kill on Fozil, but I feel like he gets away with that one tenfold. However, this may be a double-edged sword, because CacaNito's just waiting for the exit to come in. Coming through is an extra prong, but Fozil clears his corners, and it looks like maybe Team Space will end the streak of Apeks for now. Sense back into Con, spotting the first, second, right behind him. And as soon as I said there's a chance, they steal it back. Bomb plant imminent. And Space will be up for a retake. One flash, one smoke, and both separated. They want to regroup. Compound their assets as Knock posts up on the op for a temporary amount of time. Flash goes deep. It feels Apeks are a little uncomfortable. Starting to gather information. Sense will clear out Con. And they'll both shift back in from CT, where Knock is currently well ready and posted. Trunic, this may come down to timing. But it appears it's in the favor of Knock, and when that kill comes through, Larry has no more interest in contending. 7-1 Apeks, dropping a 4-on-2.
And that's the best defense that we've seen from Team Space thus far. You know, ending up with the better end of the trades, it's only sense that they had to really worry about, and he just kept on challenging, got that double kill into Dark, and his teammates were too segmented by the utility to re-engage or reassert themselves onto that B bomb site. The initial defense did a great job, but once Sense gets those kills, suddenly Team Space just felt locked out. Fantastic recovery from that youngster. And how do Space set up this ult to succeed?
I mean, I think there's only one viable answer, and that's how well their A main pushes have gone. I'm sorry, B main pushes have gone. I'm entirely with you. It feels like Space are kind of flying blind in a lot of these rounds, and I mean, hell, even though that last one was close, it's still kind of more or less the same. They're all waiting on A. They're not getting info anywhere at L or at B. Always mixing me up on this map, but they're not getting info anywhere else. They're not peeking mid. They're not flashing into canals. They're not nading or smoking it off. They just had the right players on the right side at the right time when the exec came through.
Look at this free real estate. Holding on to utility is Vert, and as he's re-engaging, as he gets his gun drawn, he does find the head of Jacob. That could have been a kill right there for Apeks, but instead it goes the other way. Vert barely surviving with his life. That's enough. You know, just being able to hold onto your position is more than Team Space have been able to offer up in previous gun rounds. Shadow spotted. Larry's still re-challenging into A, and now Sense comes to his better judgments about re-peeking back into that angle. Giving a lot of respect to the angles that Apeks have taken up now, but they've conceded quite a lot of control. Middle is open, Dark has been compromised. They're going to try and link up with CacaNito, pulling out nades though. That gets awkward. There's fortunate that Fossil is right behind to cover the angle.
I don't know if I'm a huge fan of this utility usage from Team Space. That's all of their counter utility at A gone, and we've seen Apeks when they have the utility advantage. What they can do to a team, advantage or not, and they've got the mollies, they've got the flashes, and they've got the info. In fact, they won't even use up that molly. They're just gonna nade off Bozo, make their job a lot easier as players fall like dominoes in the middle of the B side. Still, 2 to flush him out, and they're both thrown. Big mistake made from Apeks, but it still puts them back into the 2-on-2, wondering where this next player is going to come from. Where's the next anchor approaching from Team Space? Well, for now, Space can't worry about it. Knock has to. Bomb needs to go down, and Knock helps ensure its safety. 1v2 for Larry, and this time, no question as to whether or not he has to go for it, but with the info given away and the first shot missed, things seem very far-fetched for Space, and Apeks will keep their streak rolling up to 8.
Oh man, that looked like a sitter of a kill there for Larry. Saw the flash coming as well, but decided to tank it. Maybe expecting that the flash might have gone too high, that he wouldn't get caught from Temple. But when he was blind, that was all the space that was needed. A very hard flick to adjust to when you're recovering from a flash. Another position in which, you know, Team Space start off with an advantage, but they simply cannot close. And these CT side showings have not been impressive. There's a squad that definitely come into this matchup as underdogs. You know, some of the teams we've seen from the Paris Major have not been able to maintain their ranking and kept showing us good form, but Apeks are one of those teams that continue to build, and they just keep on punishing Team Space for not anticipating the aggression. Start off with openers, sure, but maintaining them has been the difficulty.
And CacaNito's just fully cleared out the B site. This is all a massive ruse. Apeks will not let Team Space know what's going on. And it's kind of the inverse from Mirage, where we saw countless timings abused from Team Space on their T side, where almost any situation that came down to a 50-50 in that regard always felt like it'd go Team Space's way. I mean, for instance, there were a couple of rounds where they'd get into the window room the second somebody from Apeks would leave, and they'd use it to get this massive flank. Well, here, it's the direct opposite, where, I mean, there, you see Trunic wanted to go back in for the refrag on, I believe, Kixan, but as soon as he does, the PC utility pulled out. And this has happened almost every single time. And wow, all right, I don't... As I was even going through the motions there, I saw that it comes down to a one-on-one that just didn't matter, but it just feels like Team Space are giving them way too much.
Yeah, it feels like a lot of the contestable areas of the map for the CTs is basically given away for free at the start of these rounds. Again, Space have not shown any sort of aggressive tendencies on their CT side. They're fighting from bomb sites very frequently. The biggest challenge that they've had has really been middle control. You know, that's where Jacob has been abusing some of the timings, the double Molotov setups that Apeks are opening up with. You know, these have been some of the difficulties for that player in mid. But they've been doing a better job of kind of holding on to that territory of the map, but they're losing sights now quicker. Time it's a stack onto B. Maybe this could catch Apeks off.
Well, it might. We've seen them walk over this opening kill before. Fozil in Con. He's been pretty good for his own right. But the trades still don't seem to be doing them any favors 4-on-4s. I'd definitely give it to the T's on a map like this. But Jacob's never left mid, and I love the way he's been playing mid this entire game. He's always looking for a pick, always looking for leverage, usually in a safe manner. And here, he's not rerouting with his team because he's got rotations cut. Soon as long as clear, they walk out on A. You have all of this information. You know what most are going to be in heaven. And by the time Larry knows, you're already in his face, under his nose. Second player spotted, molly thrown in, bomb going down. It's chaos for Team Space, who are stuck in their spawn. And Jacob's not letting them back out through mid, holding the spray. A rarity to see in CS2, but when the gun's in his hands, it's no question to see it go well. Apeks, after losing the pistol, they may end this half off flawless.
I know, it's kind of wild that they've been... from the word go, ready to rumble here with Team Space. Pulled up that stat about Space and their win rate on Anubis, but this might be one of the most one-sided losses they could experience. Apeks are showing them the goods, and Team Space ain't liking what they're seeing. That is awkward. They wanted to set up for an aggressive play. Jacob blowing the smoke right open. Larry didn't stick around to find out whether or not he could still go for that pick or not. They do it again. They blew open the smoke again.
I swear I keep hearing a Negev.
Yeah, no, there was one, I think.
That's what I thought too, but it's honestly, I mean, doesn't really matter, honestly. Like, Negev or not, this is a 4-on-2, and 4-on-1 seems likely, maybe not. And Enzero, he's been quiet a majority of this map, but triples his kills in the one round and gives him a fighting chance. Maybe some ground to stand on in the 12th. Ended off on a high note. Why don't you? Third? Well warranted. A little too disrespectful, so it seems, our Apeks in this round. His smokes go back and forth, smoking off Fozil's angle, taking more fights than they probably should be. Apeks are giving more of an opportunity to Team Space. Bombs down, and in comes enzero for the flank, but the fact that they're both low really leaves a lot of questions as to how far they can take this.
Don't have a kit.
Both hiding.
Yeah, and they're both hiding away here on Apeks, trying to play off each other. Man, Nork is just so quick on that AWP. Fozil floored, and a smoke that will meet them at the entrance, but Nork fights straight through what is a Molotov at his feet. 11-1 after losing pistol. Apeks have not let go. We'll see if that continues in the second half.
Every standing points to not great so far from Team Space, with only a couple of rounds left as a buffer for their T side and this series in general. They may be bidding a very, very soon welcoming to the losers bracket. But Apeks, for now, they're on a hot streak, 11 in a row, looking to follow up with a pistol win that will likely close down the series.
Oh, a 7-round streak moving into their T side of Mirage. So out of the last 19 rounds of Counter-Strike between these two teams, they have only conceded 1 round.
Ugh, what an ugly statistic.
I know, it hurts. It's not, it's not been great here for Team Space, but they were much better on their T side.
Oh, no.
The thing is, they need this pistol, and Apeks already have a lot of information.
I mean, like, you'll see this coming if you're enzero, but, like, look at this bait and switch. Keekzad already getting a kill might just be the nail in the coffin. Anything more would be absurd. Larry getting clear the corner. Showing up with the dualies, CacaNito. He's got his one, and now he calls for the rotation, but everywhere he goes, there's another Team Space member. Very split up and also very low. Team Space aren't doing themselves any due diligence here. Knock a body shot away, again, ironically enough, from dealing the killing blow to Vert. But 0 for 2 when it comes to that circumstance. He shifts back in with both up on the shelf and detected. Enzero's dualies may not get too far, or maybe they will. Is Jacob, the tank of the team's got to get it all done. No kit, not a lot to help him, except for his guns and his brain running down. Trunic, who hears him coming and even spots the shoulder. No, he's in the corner. Even if this kill comes through, though, it won't matter. And what an audacious buy to go with a deagle on the pistol when you're down 11-1.
I wasn't gonna bring it up, but when you end up in a 1 versus 1 like that with those dualies and you don't have armor, yeah, I mean, the fact that he comes out ahead in that particular 1 versus 1 is a massive saving grace. They needed that pistol round. It came down tooth and nail. CacaNito in his spot when baited and set up for success should have got more than just the 1 kill. But because he fell short, Team Space were able to get a man advantage, move into the bomb site, and get that bomb taken away. Must-win pistol, and they succeed, albeit by the skin of their teeth. CacaNito's a big Negev believer.
I've had my fair share of hot takes in my day, but that one takes the cake. Oh,
he got his one.
He got his one. That's true.
Who says he can't get more?
I was gonna say, does he get his 2?
That is the slowest peak you will ever see. Walking into an angle with a Negev.
I thought they were gonna flash him in or something.
I don't think that you can get any slower than that, so...
Reminds me of
Wait.
like
What has Larry just done? He's thrown.
just...
Oh, okay, there. Okay, the gun is there.
I really thought he threw his gun out of the map to pick up the Negev.
I thought he threw his gun out of the map, and the Galil that he was trying to pick up was already out of the map, so it's gonna be very, very awkward. But he got his hands on a weapon.
No, hold up. Sans isn't gonna let this go home for free. Still wants some bonus kills, but the MP7 is all he walks away with. Dude, what are these guns? What are these buys from Apeks? Like,
Man, bro, I mean, North just picked up the Negev. He'll give it back to Kixon in a moment.
I mean, it's not even that. Who buys an MP7?
Hey, I'll have you know there's a whole dozen people that enjoy the MP7. I'm not one of them, but you know, there are some of them out there.
There's some of a lot of things out there, Yumi.
Nerds is an MP7 enjoyer as well, I believe.
Well, Ents lost, didn't they?
Yeah, but Nerds is great, so he sees something in that weapon that few don't. And there are enjoyers.
I think not.
There are enjoyers on Apeks as well.
Well, in they go. And Enzero's the one buying them.
Yep,
and
he is.
What is going on? A totem pole behind the door for the opening pit. They're going into A, and Nox got the only sensible weapon of the buy, a deagle. But blockaded by a smoke. Team Space have to slow their roll.
Yeah, it's kind of the worst case circumstance to lose your mid player so quickly when you're setting up for what is a forced A attack. You want to have that extra prong to the assault, but because they lose that mid player so quickly, have to pump the brakes. And because they've slowed things down, it's going to actually work to their favor. They might get channeled into still a 3-man setup on this A bomb site, but that's not too unconventional these days. We see a lot of teams kind of concede mid control, still keep tabs from camera, and then fight from the A site itself. Team Space are just being very diligent that they could be getting flanked or pushed in from one of the extremities.
I don't like this, Yumi. I really don't like this. What's gonna happen is Nox gonna put smoke after Jacob gets contact. These two are gonna distract, and we're gonna see Kicksan try to vouch for his gun of choice as soon as they start to come through, holding down the spray. I thought he would have gotten it off sooner. Now it's Nox with an impossible task. Nice little headshot there, but I was a little too ambitious this time, it seems.
We got 2 MP7s. And they've got a buy around the corner, so they will contest this. Very loud about his rotate once then, so long-range fight. Fuzzle does get control of his spray. Limits the possibilities here for CacaNito, flushed out by Vert. You're kind of thinking about worst-case scenario for Team Space, but they circumvent that 3-man stack by being able to get isolated fights, got that smoke into heaven, punished Kixan for his sort of wide angle, trying to be that first point of contact with the Negev. And Nork never relinquished control of that smoke. Never revealed he was in the site, and sure, he got his 1 kill, but he wanted his teammates to stay alive a little longer than that.
You know, not to play devil's advocate here, but I think I just found an extra hidden ability of the MP7.
Give it to your opponent so that they can't kill anything?
Exactly, yeah. Because, like, who knows how to use the MP7? It'll only help you out for so long, because when CacaNito gets an M4 back in his hands, he'll surely know how to use that. And it works for an opener. Few and far between of these been on the CT side from Apeks, and I'm sure they love to lock it down here with that in mind.
It doesn't weaken their buy too much by losing that player. One of one's on an SMG, and so can pick up that AK that was dropped around that smoke relatively safely. But they'll need to take space elsewhere. A-main seems to be the target and the priority, but they're still applying pressure on both sides of the map. CacaNito forced off of his angle at dark, and enzero being able to find that isolated fight onto Jacob. Kixon's still challenging in from heaven, but a fresh smoke to greet him. This will not be great. It's actually blocked, and so Kixon has an angle that he sense can support from, but they both get picked out. Instant headshots here for Team Space, and this T side, listen, they may have had their struggles on the defense, but when it comes to the attack, Team Space know how to piece it all together, and they'll succeed again. Apeks on the save.
My only question is how long until this gets alarming. I mean, it's only 4 rounds in a row, so for now, you know, I'm not going to say it's done and dusted. But I think one big thing to look for when, at least when I'm spectating potential comebacks, is not being against map point. right? You have that little bit of room for error, and I think it just relieves a lot of stress. You don't have to play perfect. You can still play like yourselves, not have to worry about taking every little peek. And considering these buys keep getting shut down, you're going to start getting two for the price of one. I mean, here, this is likely to be a save, maybe a half buy again, potentially featuring an Egev if Kixen wants to get a little crazy. But most of it's just going to be upgraded pistols. Nothing to really worry about for Team Space.
Yeah, I think the big positive for Space thus far is, although it's come down to them losing some of the opening kills, their patience and their re-execution of the A bomb site has proved to be very fruitful. It's maybe even a vulnerability that Apeks are going to have to plug up in future rounds. And that kind of opens up the rest of the map for greater success. If they're having to pull an extra player towards the A side defense, then that weakens the B side or mid. Up against the sort of cobbled together buy here of Apeks, there will be no issues. Instant 2 kills on B. Kixen, of course, did buy up a Negev again. It isn't a very economic gun for the amount of bullets you can output. But we've not seen a lot of those bullets placed into opponents. Well, Kixen suppresses Vert on his forward peek.
There's an MP, there's a P90.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's not uncommon these days, actually. The P90, for some, has replaced the FAMAS in sort of the hierarchy. Gives you a little bit more stopping power on rush plays as well, which is, you know, Team Space came in with proper pace towards Dark, so it's not like that P90 was sort of out of its element. I think it was Zorte for Bet Boom that was saying that, you know, going into, I think it was IM Sydney, he was no longer an AWPer, he was a P90 player.
I mean, like, it makes sense to some extent. We've seen some drastic differences between spraying, between how hard it feels to hit moving targets.
Yep.
So I think there could be some, you know, element of advantage with a gun like that. That's more
and that's definitely what they're leveraging as well.
Yeah. Well, leverage this angle from Jacob. Or potentially lose the round running through a molly. Oh my god, here comes the P90 again with 2 kills on 18 HP. A little ridiculous if you ask me, but still doesn't mean it's all-round defining. Still got sense on the A site, dumping in some supportive utility before the take actually hits the site. Buying time for the assisted rotations is all they really need to do. Kixan's rotated in behind it, but CacaNito's gone. This is a 2-on-3 again, and Apeks can't seem to get their heads around a lot of these rounds. Smoke thrown in short, but it really doesn't do them any justice. The assistance is already closer than they expect, and Trunic seems ready for this, but could also come down to an element of timing, as it seems they haven't full cleared the angle, and Kixen spins around for 2. Larry, couple of opportunities for a 1v2 on the CT side. Now, from the offensive perspective, seems a lot more ready to go for it. With the second shot missed, everything's back up in the air. Kixan fully sticking to the fuse as the flash comes through. The peak's too slow, and the way they get match point isn't even by winning it on eliminations.
Oh, Kixen. How have you gotten away with that? I mean, we see it from Sense's point of view. You know, he's trying to just delay with utility. He's getting Molotov'd at every avenue. A molly in heaven, one at bricks. Kixen cheating around to that smoke just at the steps into B. And a small moment of just disregard from Team Space. Didn't consider that smoke was a possibility. Didn't have anybody watching for it as it phased. And Kixen gets the complete drop on them and plays the clutch perfectly. Got the dink and knew it was very unlikely that AWP would re-challenge on such low health so quick. Played him like a fiddle. Now opening up this round is Fozzle, but it's an instant trade by Nox AWP. Starting 4-on-4 and a step made by Vert. Kixen should know that they're close, but they're going to run right past this smoke, right into another one that's just phasing. It's fresh at that, but it's an instant 1-for-1 again. It's still 3-on-3.
I did not expect that kill to come through whatsoever. I thought it was just an instant deletion of Kixen, but they've been saved at least a little bit to stay on even footing, and Nock hasn't been spotted just yet. This will be your first clear when you shift into the site, and I don't know if Enzero's going to walk into the angle instead. Awaits them all, he starts to burn, they peek in, and out goes Nock. A rarity, it seems. You favor him hitting those shots, especially with how he's looked this game. But Team Space After giving away match point in what felt like a devastating fashion, they may have kept themselves alive, but for now, they're shifting back in from B main. Sense and Jacob alike aren't saying die just yet, and this could be exactly what they need. Nobody too hard pressed on the angles just yet, but enzero now turns his attention back, and with that flash coming in, they know Team Space is on red alert for this exact flank to come through. So instead of shifting back in for a retake, they're shifting in for exits, and Team Space will guarantee themselves 7 before too long.
Yeah, the two Norwegians, the oldest man and the youngest man on this roster, tried to go for containment, do some extra damage, but nothing giving here on the Team Space side. Went for those back and forth trades, and once they dealt with Nork, that was all they had to worry about. A timeout called here by Apeks. Sure, they did win a 2 versus 3 retake, but those are not prime or ideal circumstances. They have been losing these bomb sites in pretty astronomical ways. You know, the executes from Team Space has been doing a good job of creating the room necessary to set up in those after plans, and frequently with a man advantage. Is there going to be a solution drawn up here by Apeks? Because kind of similar story for Space on their defense. Apeks have not shown much of an aggressive footing on any of these early contestable areas. They haven't gone for any sort of B main pressure. We haven't seen any proper challenges in towards Canals, bar maybe a brazen peak from CacaNito or maybe Nork on that AWP. We haven't seen concerted efforts to target areas of the map here from either defensive unit. I wonder if that might be a drawback to Apeks, even though they have this considerable lead. They are feeling a bit of the pressure now.
And there goes Sense. The top, or one of the top players for Apeks this game, and without him this round, you're gonna feel that gap. Bozo, above this smoke, he's a little far forward, I was gonna say. I like the idea, but his passion gets him caught, and we're back to a 4-on-4 again. Apeks, you'll only get so many of these over on him, and they're sneaking into A, all 4, with not a lot of utility to show. Walking back in, and they're both gonna line up. Bomb drop, that's worst case scenario, because even if this trade comes through from A main, they now need to deal with him, and it seems like that's all it's going to take to shut the game down. A 2-man army on the A site for the defense, and Team Space falter at the very final couple of notches.
Yeah, I mean, a fantastic last round from CacaNito and Jacob alike. CacaNito getting that 1 kill over at B, took space, got info. His teammates knew exactly what was coming their way. Another A-side attack, which was